My name is Kim Leotach Lang and I like to learn, make and teach stuff. Welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm completing my Zelda bow build by making arrows, a quiver and some costumes to match it. I started by sharpening one end of a piece of PVC pipe to use as a hole saw, and then I cut a great many discs of foam. I then removed the textured backing from every single disc so that they could be bonded together. From a sheet of folder binder plastic, I created a little harness that will hold the arrow shaft in place. I also cut a disc of vulcanized rubber and I roughened the surfaces of it and the plastic. I'm using fiberglass target arrows to make my play arrows, and I'm using my vacuum cleaner to control that nasty dust. And here's a sample assembly of my play arrows. I've got 3 pieces of EVA foam, 1 piece of vulcanized rubber and 2 layers of bookbinder's plastic in between the arrow shaft and the front of the arrow, and there's another piece of EVA foam that's cut in half to hold it upright. Like all my foam builds, it's all held together with Seeker brand contact cement, which is available locally. The arrow nocks are also made from EVA foam and attached just by a slit and glue. All the edges in the head are smoothed out with a Dremel and decoration begins. I've decided to make a fire, an ice and 2 metal arrows, starting here with the first of the metal arrows. Almost all decorations are being done with a sheet of 2 or 3 mil EVA craft foam. The ice arrow actually proved more challenging than the fire. Here I'm building up the layers in geometric shapes, trying for a chunky crystalline form. Once I could be certain how big it needed to be, I began making the quiver. A lot of the texture on the inside of the foam for the quiver, which was problematic later. My vision for the quiver was that it would be a bunch of thin strips of wood bound together into the basket shape. And finding the correct position for the strap proved a little bit problematic, but it got there in the end. I messed up the placement of one of the wing pieces of the Zelda emblem and had to remove it and try again, and as you can see I very nearly needed to do it a 3rd time. Once again, texturing should always be done before detailing. It was at this point that the bow broke, and I had to put it on hold for a while. When I was finally ready to come back to it, I added a little bit more texture and then began painting. To start with, everything got a white undercoat. I used a bit of Sally's No More Gaps to fill in the deepest grooves in the quiver. metallic areas to look like aged bronze, so I began with a dark green undercoat and went gold over the top of that. I used a fair bit of wet mixing on the objects themselves for both the fire and the ice arrows to create some nice gradients and deep colour effects. Other metal parts were my standard silver over black method. Once clear coated, they were done. Also visible here, you can see that I made the shafts of the arrow frosted or singed as appropriate. I decided the quiver would look much better with a lining in it, and this proved to be a gateway into costume making because if I'm buying 1 meter of fabric, why not 2? I used Flexbond to affix the lining and to create all the seams within. I had a fair bit of difficulty with the last bit of the lining, and I'm sorry to say I ended up with more than a few little wrinkles, but it's not really visible. Anyway, on with the costuming. I have 2 little boys, so 1 costume won't do. Starting here painting the belt buckles. Taking a brief interlude here to set up a much needed purchase, a new pair of fabric scissors. Thus armed, we continue with the costume, making 2 belts out of strips of brown calico. With the Velcro affixed and the belt buckles glued on, it was time to work on the tunics and hats. Some very rough patterns with butcher's paper and went to it. And some of this was done before the new scissors. What with the bow breaking and all the interruptions, this was a really drawn out build, so it was a real sense of relief that we finally got the boys in costume and out playing with it.
Take video.
Dad's taking video.
Ah!
Hey Luca, look at me. Shoot towards Daddy.
Ah!
Hello if you want to.
Hello.
Anything else you want to say?
I'm going to beat Dandor.
Good too. What else are you going to do?
I'm going to get all the pieces of the Triforce.
Cool.
And that's 2 happy boys at project complete. A couple of photos here by my dear wife Nadine. Feedback, likes and subs always gratefully appreciated, and I hope you, like me, have learned something from this project.